This is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions for games you'd like me to look at here on the channel, please let me know. Hello everybody! Welcome to a beginner's guide to auction not included. I've been doing these video game explain videos here on the YouTube channel. They've gotten some traction, and what better game to look at next than the upcoming Colony Simulator from Clay Entertainment. For this video, we're going to go over the beginning of the game and little tips and strategies to get your best foot going before all your duplicants die, starve, or run out auctioned. Please keep in mind that what you're going to watch is from the early access alpha build of Auction Not Included. What you see may not represent the current version. This is why I'm kind of apprehensive about doing a mid to late game guide of the game just yet, as I'm sure they'll be adding in more core systems as time goes on. But the foundation should not be changed all that much, and that we can certainly talk about now. So the first decision you make is what will be your starting crew. And as you can see, these are three that were given to me, and we can of course shuffle them for more. Now, the first thing you want to take a look at are the attributes. These are either the bonuses or negatives replicants will have towards certain stats. Now, typically what you're going to see is that it's better to be really good at something rather than to be okay at a lot of little things. So if you look right here, with a +7 strength, these two replicants are able to carry 105% more weight. This one, Viola, with only 1%, carries 15%. But she has +8 in digging, which means that she'll be able to do a whole lot there. Now, one thing you should be avoiding at the start are probably any replicants who have a negative in a task. And let's go over, or I'm sorry, negative in an attribute. And let's go over them quickly. Athletics is movement speed. Cooking is creating food. Digging, as we talked about, is digging up the area. Medicine is able to heal. Tinkering is for machinery. Construction is building. Creativity is for art, which art allows you to create decorative items to reduce stress. Learning is the ability for them to gain more effectiveness as they level up skills and increases their research. So learning is a pretty useful skill all around. And then strength, as we just said, is the carrying weight. Next we have traits, and traits are randomly assigned. Again, one on the left in green is good, red is bad. So this character will not be able to perform research. Now, the traits and the attributes are not always connected. Sometimes you can have someone who's really good at learning, but can't do any research. So she's best at sleeping, but can't do research. So this we would have to re-roll, because we really don't want two with the same traits, and we would only have one person who could do research, and that's not really good starting out. So the question is, who do we want to get rid of more? Probably Viola with her digging is probably worth more right now than the other character, so I'm going to re-roll Katrin. Before we do that, one other row here is the additionals. This gives you the decor expectation, and this is based on the replicant or duplicant itself. So you can see Katrin over there will have +35. She has +40, and he has +35. And this is usually based on the level. Typically, the lower the decor expectation, the better, because it means that they will be happier with less fanciness around them. And then the stress response, again, what will happen if they get completely stressed out. So I'm going to re-roll her. Alright. So, not bad. He has very low decor expectation, and is good at decorating. She's okay at research, so this is fine. Now, the world itself is procedurally generated whenever we start a new game. So I'm going to pause things here so we can talk about what's happening. So first thing you can see is we have 4 key areas of UI. Up here, it shows the current cycle or day in the game. When this bar, or when this little asterisk completely darkens, it means it's nighttime. This is our speed, allowing us to make the game as fast or slow as we want. This is emergency. Over here we have the number of population. This will quickly change to 3 once I unpause. The current stress levels. And then the number of kilocalories, as well as the amount of food we have left. A duplicant will usually consume 1,000 kilocalories per meal. There we go. Over here we have the jobs. This lets us set priority for each replicant. The jobs that are a little darker here are the ones that are better or more suited towards that character. So you can see with digging, combat, harvesting, and digging obviously are all related to that. Well, he's good for art, and that's about it. Or you can see our vitals, how much they've eaten, their current state of fullness, what they're burning, stuff like that. You can see what's causing them stress and what their current abilities are. You can also get this information by clicking on a duplicant. Reports gives us a little bit about what's happened during the day, how much we've used, how much we produce, and how much we've lost. And research will become available once we've unlocked it. So here you can see overlays for information including oxygen, power, temperature, lighting, plumbing, gas, and decor. And then priority. Priority will let us assign tasks a higher priority so they will get done sooner. 1 being the lowest, 9 being the highest. Over here you have everything that we can create, categorized by these different groups, and these parts will become highlighted as we begin to mine out our colony around. Now here are the general tasks: digging, harvesting plants, prioritizing, moving stuff off the floor into storage, cleaning up liquid, breaking things down, and then just canceling an order. So with that said, let's go over the priorities. When it comes to playing Oxygen Not Included, you want to get a source of water, you're going to need a source of food, and you're going to start to need to get the basic needs. So beds, toiletries, and of course something to produce oxygen. Because all this oxygen is of a fixed amount. When it runs out, if you're not producing any, you guys are basically going to stop breathing. Now, when it comes to building, the thing you have to understand is that Oxygen Not Included is based on real-world physics when it comes to gas. Oxygen is a lighter gas and will rise up. What that means is high ceilings are not your friend in this game. Because if oxygen is rising up, up, and up, then your guys on the lower parts of the rooms will not be able to get any. So it's important to try to keep ceilings as low as needed. And if need be, produce tiles to do that. So let's take a look at some of the minerals around us. Sandstone is going to be a raw material which we'll be using for a lot of stuff. Oxalate basically lets us produce a little extra oxygen, nothing too fancy. We have carbon dioxide, which is going to be produced by a lot of things in this game and is unbreathable. We have coal, which will be used for our coal burning furnaces. Copper, which is the early tier raw metal, which will be used for a lot more advanced stuff. We have plants that we can harvest. Algae, which is vital to producing oxygen creating structures and to clean things as well. And to produce things that will clean the air. So we're going to need lots of algae as time goes on. And then water is going to be used for a lot of things, including cleaning, making food, and going to be able to produce, and will also allow us to create some more advanced stuff, including bathrooms and showers. Over here we have some contaminated water, which is stuff that will get us sick if our replicants deal with it for too long. But advanced play will involve decontaminating it to be used for other stuff. So we have a big old pocket of oxygen right here, and we have water here, which we can actually break this wall here and create just one big pool of water that we can use. Now, other than that, there's some hydrogen as well, and then it looks like we have a lot of granite up here. Again, because things are procedurally generated, you guys will be seeing a different layout when you start your games. So what's the first thing we should do? We should probably create a living area. So, now down here is a lot of stuff that I want to dig up and make use of, including algae. We have a little bit of copper there. We have more copper up here. So we will probably be mining up there at some point, and maybe even over here. So first thing, let's start digging. Again, you can see the difference between our expert digger there. And I'm going to also dig this out so we have the resources. First thing that I want to do is build a ladder down. Now the wider the space, can't do that. The wider the space that you have, the more oxygen will flow upward. So now they are constructing. We have our ration box. And all of this I want to dig up. We'll harvest that. Because this is only day one, there's not a lot of threats going on in terms of what our colonist needs. Now I do want to dig right into here. And water will flow much like it will in real life. So any empty spots, the water will fill to, and will of course flow downward if there is space to that. Alright. Now tiles can be used to speed up movement and makes the place a little bit more beautiful. And what I want to do is probably close this up. Oop, no, we don't need all of that. And we're going to make this again as low as possible, because this will probably be our bed area. If you watch the oxygen again, you can see stuff like carbon dioxide flowing down because it is a heavier gas. Now we're going to need some beds. And I'll dig this out as well. Now again, by doing this, it's going to keep the flow of oxygen down here. Alright. Let's speed that up a little bit more. We still have plenty of time for today. Sand will also break down when you pull, as you can see. Now, replicants can climb up 2 tiles high, if I remember right. So he should be fine. Do we have enough for beds? Yes. So, 1, 2, 3. This way they'll be able to sleep. Oh, but we do need a bathroom. Now typically we don't want the bathroom near our water supply. So what I will probably do is hollow this out. And for right now, because... where is it? There we go. Because we need it, I'm going to build the bathroom right now. But we will move this to a better place once we have the room for it. So far so good. The bathroom's done. And they can climb down into the water as well. Alright, so this is looking good. I'm going to hollow this out so we have one connected pool. And the next thing we need to do is start to worry about research and power. Without power, we won't be able to produce food, and we won't be able to produce oxygen as well. Oh, oxygen is flowing right in there. Let's stop that. Oh, he is trapped. Alright, and now you can watch the oxygen flow. Again, I'm just going to try and build this up. And let's get some power going. Power needs to be generated by a machine and then pumped into batteries to be stored. Then the power from the batteries will flow to anything connected via electrical wire. So I will build this right here. And batteries you can just put right next to it. Connect. And you can assign machines, or you can assign construction to different materials if the option is there. Typically sandstone, if it's available, you want to build everything out of that. At least right now, at this point in the game. Now, this amount of water should be more than enough to last us. But we need food. Ooh, excuse me. We need food and we need oxygen. Because as they're sleeping, they are producing carbon dioxide and, of course, taking in oxygen. Power is done. Again, they are eating. Now this will have to be cleaned out eventually, but we have plenty of time until that happens. There's some contaminated water. Now this slime here can be transformed into algae, but we will need advanced machinery to do that. Oh. Alright, so with that done, where do we want this? Again, oxygen will flow up. So ideally, we want to put this in a place where the oxygen will filter or will flow out to where our characters need it. So I'm going to put it right here. And again, I want to close this ceiling up so the oxygen cannot spread. Now, I do not want to rip this part out because I don't want this carbon dioxide to come down just yet. Yeah, we still need raw metal, which of course is going to be the copper. There's a whole lot of copper right there. And again, because oxygen will flow up, I can sort of hollow this out and not have to worry about it. Now that needs power, but we will fix that very soon. We unfortunately, again, thanks to the procedurally generated level, we don't have any copper in short supply here. Or I'm sorry, we don't have a lot of it nearby, so I have to dig down here and then we'll have more than enough. I can also clean this up with some storage. And then with storage, you just want to make sure it says all, so that it will take everything that we need. And this is good. I'm going to have my own little like waste area once we're finished. She's cleaning up. And now we're getting to the point of the copper. Perfect. So first thing I want to do is connect our machine. Oop. Good. Again, because oxygen is not flowing down, it's harder for them to breathe, but they'll have to deal with it. It's not saying there's enough copper, but don't worry. As we dig down to here, that will not be a problem. As time goes on, we will get new duplicants, but ideally, the smaller your colony, the easier it will be to become self-sufficient. Oh. They took that out. Good. Alright, this should start working. And this will finally get us some oxygen flowing, as you can see. And then the oxygen will flow over here, and then come back to where they're sleeping. Now, what we're going to do is wrap this up after we get the basics going. So the next thing we need is food. And for food, we need a micro musher. Again, we'll also get some research built. Research is vital towards unlocking new and important items that we will need to survive. But first, they all need to sleep. And again, as you can see, you can watch the flow of oxygen. I think we ran out of power, yeah. An easier way to store more power is to build an additional battery. And again, there will be other power sources later in. Alright. So what we need to do is just connect this. Boom. And... Oh, no. Hey. There we go. Now, while we're waiting for that to go, there are other things you can build. The massage table is perfect to reduce stress as long as you assign it to someone who is stressed out. Decor will come into play in order to reduce the stress and beautify our environment. Now, this will only go if the pressure isn't at max. And as you can see, this area is filling up. It's hot, very breathable. So the air needs to work itself around in order for it to start pumping more. But that's fine for right now. Now they are going to do that. Uh-oh. Now, as you can see, we got a little bit of a situation. The sandstone, or the sand here, broke, and now we have a bit of a flood. But we can certainly fix that. This will keep the water from flowing over here. Uh-oh. Do it. There we go. And all we need to really do is move our way down. do research, what we need to do is come over here, and these are all the options that are available currently in the game. The green research, green research is the basic level, which is what we just built, and then blue requires the upgraded research station, which, if we come over here, is the supercomputer. So first thing I generally do is farming tech, and then maybe power regulation next. Now to do this, we click novice research, we click continuously fabricate so that they'll just keep going through it, and then someone will get to work. Now for food, it works along the same lines. Now meal lice is what needs to be grown, and is basically the safer version of the mush bar. But right now it's fine, so I'm gonna just craft a few there. Okay, he's hard at work. And you can see how our carbon dioxide is flowing down. Zoom in, you can watch as the oxygen is now flowing, hopefully over here. And we have a new duplicant. Duplicants are randomly generated. And let's see what we got. So this guy, probably not a good idea. Takes him a lot longer to level up. And he's a slow learner as well, on top of narcoleptic. He's a scaredy cat, and he has very low decor expectation, so that's actually pretty nice. This one can eat just about anything. I will take him. Typically around 4 or 5 duplicants should be easy enough starting out. Once you get to 6 or 7, it becomes a lot harder. So you want to make sure your colony is pretty sufficient before you start getting more. So again, 1 duplicant, 1 bed. So let's get another bed right there. And she will be taking the water right from here. Good. And what I can do, again, if I need copper, I can just mine this whole area out if need be. Good, she's producing food. And we'll be getting some much needed copper. But we are probably going to wrap up this video in a few minutes. Put this down. What I may end up doing is producing another oxygen scrubber, probably in this bigger area. Alright, so again, we can watch as they're consuming the oxygen. So we consume 13.4, we produce 5.4. So that's not good. Now I hope you're noticing that all the CO2 is starting to gather right in this area. We will need to do something about that eventually. How much more is left here? Oh, quite a bit. We're pretty good on food for right now. I'm going to produce, just in case we need it, a massage table. And remember, the more you stretch your base out, the more oxygen will have to flow. So be careful about going for like massive bases, because you may not have enough oxygen for all those areas. Alright, so they are eating. We'll probably build an Algae Terrarium soon in order to process this CO2. But that's why I need to get this done. Now this will have to be cleaned out in 4 visits, which means we'll need a place to dump the contaminated dirt, excuse me. Trying to think of the best way to make our water. But what I will do is we're going to wrap things up once the research is finished. This is just, yeah, so we have a lot of CO2 down here. What I may want to do is open this part up to let more oxygen flow up. Again, our breathing or sleeping area is quite good, but we have some bad patches of CO2 to deal with. Good. Research is done, which means we've unlocked the first tier, including the Algae Terrarium. These will consume CO2 and produce oxygen. And again, we want to place them in the lower parts of our colony where CO2 is likely to gather. So what I'm going to do is, I think I will probably empty or fill this part up and basically build down here. So I am going to do that. Let's see. Again, there's all this lovely algae here. So I'm going to open this part up. I'm going to build one just to show you how it works. Compost, I will... we put that someplace disgusting, basically. Alright, so that will dig down. I may even consider moving this down here. Now, one thing I can do is open this part up, put the algae refiner there, and basically let the CO2 flow down. So you know what? I'm going to do that just so you can watch the spread of the gas. What's our time? We're 35 minutes in yet. We'll wrap this up here. But just to show you, so watch how the CO2 is going to start flowing down. And it's going to start gathering in this area. So I'm going to place the Algae Terrarium right there. It doesn't need power, it just needs the algae. So I'm going to deconstruct that. Again, slowly but surely it's going to start flowing its way down. We'll build the compost. Yeah, we better do that as well. Now, when you do this, keep in mind it produces contaminated oxygen. So, I need to set this up in a place where I don't want my characters to breathe it. This looks like a good place. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Again, watch the CO2 work its way down. Oh, why are you building 2 of those? And what you're going to see is the CO2 will disappear and oxygen will come out of there. Once they deliver the materials. There we go. Good. So again, you can watch as the CO2 will slowly disappear. And you can see all this nasty CO2 coming down. And yet it will annoy them to breathe that in, but it will eventually settle down here, where it will then be processed and then sent back up as oxygen. Now as for research, oh, there you go. Probably the next thing I want to do is power regulation, and then advanced play will involve piping liquids and gas around. But that will certainly be for another video if you guys want to see more. Like I said, I could probably do one more video on like the mid game, but then anything more I would probably want to wait until later on into early access or after the game is at 1.0. But we will end things here. One last thing to look at. If you want to do this quickly, just set them to the massage table and he'll have a nice little break. And you can watch his stress slowly melt away. There we go. Alright, that's enough for you. You need to get back to work. But anyway, thanks so much for watching this beginner's guide to oxygen not included. Went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but again, this is not a simple game to play. And it's very easy to screw up if you're not careful. Look at all that lovely contaminated oxygen over there we would have to deal with too. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and of course let me know if you have any questions regarding oxygen not included. Otherwise, be sure to check back daily for more great content here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Until next time, this has been Oxygen Not Included. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GW for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GW for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.